So we all know that when politicians and their families aren't busy passing laws or arguing on television, they absolutely love to dabble in some bizarre side hustles. Today we're looking at a venture that is truly in a comedic league of its own. Trump Mobile. For those out of the loop, Trump Mobile is an American mobile virtual network operator, or MVNO, which basically just means it's run by a company called T1 Mobile that paid to slap a licensed brand name from the Trump organization onto some existing cellular network. History starts. It's June 16th, 2025, exactly 10 years to the day since Donald Trump first announced his 2016 presidential campaign. To celebrate the anniversary, Donald Jr. and Eric Trump marched into Trump Tower in New York City to proudly unveil this new telecommunications train wreck to the world. But what was advertised as a top-tier cellular revolution quickly turned into an absolute circus. Today we're going to look at the ensuing saga of broken promises, phantom gold, smartphones that never seemed to actually ship, geographical embarrassments so profound they'd make a middle school earth science teacher cry. So right out the gate, the company managed to step on a rake of their own making. When they first flipped the switch on their website, something funny in their little coverage map is that instead of putting what they called the Gulf of America, they put the Gulf of Mexico. Normally, that's what everyone calls it, but the big guy himself, Trump, literally signed an executive order renaming that specific body of water to the Gulf of America. Imagine trying to flex your brand loyalty and you can't even remember your own dad's legally mandated geography patches. They ended up frantically scrubbing the map off the website, but that was just an appetizer for their next blunder. Initially, Trump Mobile made a massive deal out of their upcoming flagship device, the T1 phone, boasting that it would proudly design the exclusively manufactured right here in the United States. But then some analysts had to tap them on the shoulder and point out that the US literally lacks the supply chain and logistics required to manufacture a smartphone domestically for less than $1,000. So about a week after the big announcement, Trump Mobile quietly took their website out back and shot it in the head. Instead, they vaguely pivoted to calling the device Proudly American, or supporting an American proud design, completely failing to specify what that actually means for a phone built overseas. Now let's talk about the elusive piece of hardware at the center of the circus, the T1 phone. Originally touted as a sleek gold-colored smartphone with a totally reasonable $499 price tag. It seemed like quite the steal, and surprise, surprise, it probably was. It turns out this glorious technological marvel is highly likely just as a hastily reskinned Wing Tech Reveal 7 Pro 5G. It's just another phone. For those who aren't huge telecom nerds, WeTech is a Chinese manufacturer, and that exact phone is already sold by T-Mobile here in the States. But it gets better, because they didn't even have actual photos of the phone. The tech sleuths over at Wired magazine pointed out that the promotional images on Trump's mobile's website looked like cheap 3D renders instead of actual working prototypes. Matter of fact, whoever built the site was so utterly careless that in one section they accidentally just uploaded a render of an iPhone. Fast forward to February 7th, 2026, two Trump Mobile executives hop on a Google Meet with The Verge to proudly hold up a new prototype. But the thing they showed off looked completely different from the pictures they've been petting online for months. Suddenly, the phone was rocking a larger waterfall display with curved edges and a completely different vertical camera. They started rattling off new specs, claiming it runs on a Snapdragon 7 series processor, 520 gigabyte storage with 5,000 battery. I don't know what any of that means. That's what they said. Oh, and they mentioned the T1 logo is disappearing before launch, but they're definitely keeping the American flag. So what about this sweet $499 price tag? Poof, it's gone. never existed. You think that existed? No. The executives admitted that the final price is now just expected to be somewhere under $1,000. When pressed on the endless production delays, they claimed they deliberately skipped their initial entry-level model and stated that the phone is actually being made in a mysterious, favored nation with final assembly in Florida, because nothing screams exclusive American engineering quite like a Chinese phone built in an unnamed, favored nation and then shipped to Florida. So while everyone is waiting for this mythical piece of hardware to arrive, what exactly is the actual cellular service they are selling? Well, Trump's mobile network operations are managed by a Florida-based company called Liberty Mobile Wireless, which essentially just piggybacks off of T-Mobile again. Their flagship cellular package is creatively dubbed the 47 plan, and it costs exactly $47 and 45 cents a month. Now, to be fair, they promise a frankly bizarre amount of perks for a phone plan. We're talking free international calls to over 100 countries, complete device protection, and 24/7 roadside assistance through a service called Drive America. They even toss in telehealth service so you can get your mental health support and prescription medication delivered without leaving your couch. Plus, they brag that their customer service would be based entirely in the United States, operating 24 hours a day with real live humans instead of robots. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. But of course, reality hit like a punch from Mike Tyson. When people actually tried to sign up, it was a technical bloodbath, like a punch from Mike Tyson. There was a journalist at 404 Media that reported the pre-ordering the phone resulted in immediate billing malfunctions, with the system charging incorrect amounts and completely failing to even record people's shipping addresses. But it gets worse, because Trump Mobile then started hitting people with unauthorized reoccurring charges. And remember, the best in the class, 100% customer service. The team promised, yeah, apparently nobody was actually there to provide any assistance when things went south. So with no actual working phone in the site and a customer service line that was seemingly operated by Ghost, what happened to the release date? Well, originally the T1 was supposed to drop August or September of 2025, but as the summer dragged on, the date quietly morphed into later this year. And eventually, the year just came and went. When the Financial Times managed to get a hold of someone, the customer service reps literally blamed the delay on a 43-day federal government shutdown, claiming it pushed the release to late January 2026. Because when the US government stops funding national parks, it totally disrupts the supply chain of private companies getting their phones assembled in an unnamed favored nation. Then January passed, and as of March 2026, the website still vaguely promises a release date of later this year, exactly like it did last year. And yet, though all of this vaporware nonsense, Trump Mobile has been more than happy to continue pocketing $100 deposits for this phantom device. So how are they actually making money off of this? Basically by acting like a shady mall. They are currently selling refurbished older models of iPhones and Samsung Galaxies, pricing them anywhere from $369 to $630. Macworld took one look at these renowned devices and basically said they are an incredibly poor value. Unsurprisingly, the whole operation has drawn massive heat. Ethic groups, Democrats, and media watchdogs are furious, pointing out the glaring conflicts of interest of blurring Trump's private business with his public role. The backlash got so loud that California Governor Gavin Newsom openly mocked the company's failure to launch, flat out calling the elusive T1 phone a fraud. So will this golden slab of vaporware ever actually see the light of day? Who knows? Probably not. But judging by the track record of fake maps, phantom custom service, ever-shifting excuses, you're probably better off just trying to communicate using 2 tin cans and a string. train a bird to deliver messages. Tie a note to a rock and just throw it into the ocean. It's much cheaper. The battery life is absolutely infinite, and at least you know exactly where the thing was actually assembled. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and I'm proud to announce within the next 5 years I'll be launching my own phone, and it's going to be free, and it's going to, you can call anything, anywhere. You could even communicate with aliens, but it's coming out in a year, so I'll keep you updated on that. Okay, bye.